The early sunlight streamed through the towering glass panels of the Harrington corporate tower, turning every corner into a soft shimmer of gold. And in the middle of that spotless, intimidating world walked a quiet 12-year-old girl named Emma, holding a worn brown envelope tight against her chest, as if it carried the last truth she could rely on. The straps of her backpack were thinning. Her shoes carried the dust of long streets she had crossed, and her shaky breaths revealed both her fear and her stubborn courage. As she stepped through the main doors, rows of professionals in crisp suits paused to stare, puzzled by her presence. But Emma didn't slow down. Her gaze stayed straight ahead. She was here to return something that was never hers, something she had discovered on a park bench in Riverside Gardens 3 days earlier, something that might mean nothing, or might change someone's life entirely. What she did not expect was the sound of amused chuckles waiting for her inside the office of the city's powerful billionaire investor Michael Torres. Before we move forward, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? And don't forget to like and subscribe to Black and Wronged for more heart-touching stories. Let's get started. Inside Harrington Corporate Tower, the faint scent of lemon polish lingered in the air. The quiet buzz of keyboards and printers filled the space, and every person moving around seemed important, untouchable, and fully absorbed in their world. The receptionist paused, studying her carefully, before finally directing her toward a spacious office at the far end of the hallway. There, behind a gleaming desk, sat Michael Torres, the billionaire investor whose face graced magazine covers month after month. His smile looked sculpted rather than genuine, his suit pristine, hair perfectly in place, and his gaze coldly measured. Emma took a shaky breath, stepping closer as she held out the envelope with both hands. It didn't feel heavy, yet somehow it carried the weight of everything she had ever known. Inside the envelope lay a bundle of papers, blueprints, financial records, and scribbled notes that made little sense to Emma. The only thing she was certain of, these belonged to the person whose name was boldly marked across them. But Michael Torres didn't reach for the envelope right away. His gaze shifted to Emma, then to his assistant, before he leaned back in his chair and let out a booming laugh that echoed across the glass walls of Harrington Corporate Tower. His assistant joined in, their exchanged glances making Emma feel even smaller than she already did. Michael assumed she was playing a joke, a mere interruption, or someone trying to waste his time. Emma's chest tightened with nervousness, yet she refused to back down. She calmly explained how she had found the envelope resting on a worn bench in Riverside Gardens, how she had kept it safe, and how she had used her limited school computer access to track down the company's address. But no matter what Emma said, Michael only seemed to chuckle even more. He waved his hand casually, as if the whole scene was nothing but a trivial game. In that instant, Emma wished she had never entered the towering Harrington Corporate Tower. What Michael didn't realize was that Emma's life had been far from easy. She lived with her grandmother in a small, dim apartment where the lights sometimes flickered, and dinner was more of a hope than a certainty. She had been carrying the same worn-out backpack for years. She studied by a cracked window that let in the sharp winter air. Yet she still held on to her principles. She believed that lost things deserved to be returned, even if the world seemed to have forgotten how to care. The walk to Harrington Corporate Tower had worn her out, every step making her legs ache more than the last. Yet she pressed on, guided by a quiet instinct her grandmother had always called the voice of goodness. As laughter echoed from inside, Emma bowed her head, suddenly unsure. Had she misunderstood everything? Perhaps the envelope didn't matter. Perhaps returning it was meaningless. Perhaps no one truly noticed small acts of kindness. Just then, the office door creaked open, and a slender older man entered, leaning heavily on a polished cane. This was Harold, a retired architect who still gave his time to the city's heritage projects. His hair was streaked with gray, and his glasses perched crookedly on his nose, but his eyes keen, thoughtful, and tired, instantly fixed on the envelope clutched in Emma's hands. Something flickered across his face. Recognition, tension, relief all at once. Harold shuffled forward slowly, his cane tapping steadily on the floor tiles. He asked a single question, and Emma shared everything: how she found the envelope, the search for the address, and the walk to Riverside Gardens. As she spoke, Harold's hands shook slightly. That envelope was far more than just ordinary papers. The envelope held Emma's carefully drawn sketches for a historical park restoration, papers she had spent months perfecting and feared, gone forever when they slipped. From her bag on a Riverside Gardens bench, Michael Torres' grin disappeared in an instant. Harold turned to him, not with anger, but with quiet disappointment. He explained that Emma had returned something invaluable, a project built on years of dedication and passion that meant everything to her. The billionaire, who had been laughing just moments before, now stood frozen, embarrassed, unable to meet Harold's gaze. For the first time, Emma saw a hint of real emotion behind Michael Torres's polished, untouchable image, a small crack in the flawless facade. Harold thanked Emma softly, yet with a sincerity that made her heart skip. He inquired about her days, her school, and her grandmother. As Emma replied in her gentle voice, Michael finally realized just how courageous and strong this 12-year-old girl truly was. Emma's courage and honesty had left Michael Torres deeply impressed. Instead of handing her money, he chose to give her something far more valuable, a chance. He promised to guide her education, offer mentorship in architecture whenever she wished, and remain a supportive presence for her and Harold. Grant, now humbled by the weight of his earlier pride, expressed a heartfelt apology not only to Emma, but also to Michael. Something shifted in that room, a warmth that Emma couldn't fully describe. As if the air itself had grown softer, more human. Grant personally escorted her out of Harrington Corporate Tower, a gesture that left every employee silently astonished. Stepping into the sunlight at Riverside Gardens, Emma felt a lift in her chest, a mix of pride, a spark of hope. She didn't know what lay ahead, but she understood one simple truth: she had chosen rightly. And sometimes, that choice alone could touch lives in ways no one expected. If Emma's story moved you even a little, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Black and Wronged. Your support allows more stories to remind the world that compassion still lives. Before you leave, share your thoughts below. Kindness endures, and with that, Emma headed home under the gentle daylight, unaware that her single act of honesty had started a ripple of goodwill far beyond her imagination.